President Trump today addressed obstructionist Dems. He emphasized safety and security in the midst of the ongoing illegal immigration crisis.
Immigration is the fault and all of the problems that we're having, because we cannot get them to sign legislation. We cannot get them even to the negotiating table. And I say it's very strongly the Democrats' fault. They're they're really obstructionist, and they are obstructing. The United States will not be a migrant camp, and it will not be a refugee holding facility. Won't be.
It sounded like a clear call for a wall, didn't it? If immigration is the problem, the solution is border security. It's that straightforward. The Trump administration showing a united front. Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen today defended the Trump administration's so-called zero-tolerance immigration policy. But over the weekend, an odd Greek chorus of dissent coming from every living First Lady. Laura Bush writing an op-ed in the Washington Post saying, quote, "I appreciate the need to enforce and protect our international boundaries, but this zero-tolerance policy is cruel, it is immoral, and it breaks my heart." Michelle Obama retweeted Mrs. Bush's op-ed. Hillary Clinton today attacked the zero-tolerance policy as a moral crisis, and even the First Lady, Melania Trump, her communications director, issued a statement on CNN talking about the need for a country that, quote, governs with heart. And 90-year-old Rosalynn Carter just weighed in tonight, calling it a shame to our country. Is that a coincidence? All of the First Ladies weighing in on the issue. Joining me now, Dr. Kelli Ward. She's running as Republican for the U.S. Senate in Arizona. Dr. Ward, good to have you with us. Let's start with, first of all, this issue of immigration's the problem. Then why not build a wall? Why not secure the border?
We do have to build a wall, and we do have to secure the border, Lou. Thanks for having me on. You know, as a mom, as a family physician, I mean, no one wants to see children separated from their parents. But the moral crisis that we're facing here is that we have a wide open border that's a magnet for bad people to bring bad things into our country. Drugs, guns, people, and those bad people have figured out that they can sell a gun once, they can sell a drug once, but they could sell a woman or they can sell a child again and again and again. And our lax immigration laws and our open borders have enabled these people to use children as chits in this process, where it behooves these bad people to get a kid to bring them to our border because they might be able to escape scrutiny and seek asylum and escape into our country.
Well, a huge percentage of those children, those families, by the way, who are being separated from their children, there's no documentary evidence that they're in any way related in many cases. The other part of this is we have no way to determine whether or not they're related. It is a complete disaster in point of fact, because we don't vet those coming into this country. We give them either asylum or we simply catch and release over the course of the past well, really 2 decades. And now this president is trying to do the right thing, which is to secure the border, build the wall, take control of our borders. As he has said over and over and over, a nation without borders is no longer a nation. And to watch the national left-wing media act in concert for there to be this serendipity, this just extraordinary coincidence that all of the living First Ladies weigh in on so-called zero tolerance over the same period of time, that should be disturbing to everyone.
Well, it is a shame. It is a shame whenever Secretary Nielsen says that fraudulent claims at the border, people saying that they're family units, but they aren't, in order to sneak in under our lax laws, has gone up 314%. The fact that 10,000 out of 12,000 kids that we have in custody came here alone or came here with strangers, that is, you know, on borders on child abuse, I have to say. And, you know,
well,
for
it may
our
not
Border
border
Patrol,
on it. It, by the way, may be even worse child abuse. It is
Yes.
child exploitation, child abuse. It is child trafficking. It is, my God, and for us not to be able to even deal with that issue.
Right.
But the only time the national left-wing media deals with it is when it can be attached to a border security issue with Mexico. And that is, they should be ashamed of themselves and to act in concert and coordination. When the president calls these people fake news media, fake news, I mean, that to me is too gentle a term, and all the terms that seem so correct to me are really ineffable on this family hour.
Well, Lou, he is exactly right, because what the media isn't covering, they aren't covering the angel parents like Marianne Mendoza and Steve Ronnebeck, who lost children to illegal immigrants or persons here illegally. They aren't covering the opioid crisis, for goodness sake.
And Marianne, by the way, I just want to interject. Marianne will be joining us on this broadcast here tonight.
Yes.
We're going to take that up. I want to ask you something as a practical political matter. If this president were to sign an amnesty for DACA and support the Trump executive order in effect, if he were to sign the Ryan bill, for example, no one knows really what's in it because Ryan won't tell anybody until it's on the floor and he's got it organized. Because it's going to be written by U.S. multinationals, and doesn't secure the border. I mean, what's going to be the impact, in your judgment, on your campaign and the midterms this fall?
Well, you know, I stand with the president 100% on his endeavors
That's why I'm asking you.
To secure the border. And whenever, it's not just the Democrats who are attacking the president and attacking this effort.
We're out of time, Dr. Ward. I'm asking you a straightforward question.
I would say no. I think that it would be very detrimental to sign the Ryan bill that people like Jeff Flake, Martha McSally, Chuck Schumer, Kyrsten Sinema all would support. So it's got to, I want to see a veto pen with the Ryan bill.